Hi everybody. The past couple weeks, people have asked me how I created this little pixelated waveform visualizer, and I wanted to give you a very quick tutorial on how exactly I did that. So I am using HitFilm Pro for this. Unfortunately, the audio visualizer doesn't work in HitFilm Express, so you'll either have to invest in HitFilm Pro or one of the expansion packs for audio that HitFilm Express has. So first thing is to import your track, which I'm just going to do this little chiptune jobby right here, and we are going to create a new composite shot. Since this song is 32 seconds long, I'll just make this 33 seconds long and move on. So inside the composite shot, I'm going to create a plane for the background. I'll just leave that white, and then I will create a plane for the waveform, and just for clarity, I'll name that waveform. With the waveform, I am going to add the audio waveform effect, and then inside of that, I need to bring the audio track in too. There we go. So inside of that waveform effect, we can choose the audio input and then set the color to black. And when we set the color to black, it'll be visible. So here we go. Yep. So I am just going to make this full screen for the purposes of this video. Obviously, if you're making your own thing, it can have anything you want, like super thick or really thin, but usually I found something with a little bit of thickness, and it's larger works better. So the next step is the mosaic effect, which basically creates a grid of pixels or grid of boxes with an average of the color. We want these boxes to be fairly large so they're visible. And yeah, there we go. So we have this. Now this is the basic effect right here. However, we don't have the white borders around these pixels, which I feel is really important to creating that pixelated effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another new plane, and I'll just call this grid. And inside of here, I am going to add the atomic particle effect. Now, I'm not sure if there is a similar effect inside of Adobe Premiere or Adobe After Effects, but what this does is it creates a bunch of particles on the screen that you can manipulate in various ways. Since we have an 80 by 40 grid, we want 80 by 40 pixels or 80 by 40 particles as well. So now there's a particle on each pixel, each box, and after that, we need to set a sprite. Before I made the video, I created this really quick sprite that is just a white box with a transparent middle, which is going to basically be copied over each one of these dots. So I'm going to import the box so we can use it as a reference, and then when we go into particle appearance, we can set the source to that box, and we can set the shape to that layer, and you can see if we zoom in we have the box there, so we just need to resize it a little bit, and there we go. We have a pixelated, more or less. It's a little wonky sometimes. If you're on HitFilm, you might have to tinker around with it a little bit to make sure it fits properly, but that's the gist of it. There's a lot of things you can do with this. The one problem that I found is that since this is a white grid over a white background, you don't notice any difference. But if we put in a background or a gradient, like if I went in here and I did a 4-point gradient on this, you'll see that the white grid does show up. So there are a couple ways around that I think will work. For one, you can just have this as its own composite shot, and when you bring it in here, you can set the blending mode. I believe it would be to screen. Maybe it's to multiply. I always get those two mixed up. But you can change the blending mode here, and that should fix that problem. Aside from that, just make sure you have a solid white background. So that's really the entirety of this tutorial. I really love this effect, and I use it for all the chiptune stuff that I do, but now you can too. So hope you enjoyed it. and I'll see you later. Take care.